The national champion is clad in big orange.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
At Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect with
the SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the 2nd consecutive season.
The 1-0. Indiana, left center field. Cross on the move. Won't get there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a mismatch. Deep range. Come on now. Man, don't connect. Probably trying this time. Indeed. But two-hand jam. Down the middle. Got it. The fly is high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football and it's absolute best.
This is college athletics and its absolute best, man. Welcome into another episode of the Fanatics Show. As you can see, it's a little bit different tonight. As tonight, I am joined by our Rakin with Jake man, Jake Arnold, as Skylar is at Rivalry Thursday tonight, supporting Anderson County. As their company is a sponsor of the Anderson County football team. So unfortunately, he had to be there tonight, but we're still here to talk ball as tonight is your host, Michael. My co-host tonight is Jake Arnold. Jake, how you doing tonight, man?
Man, doing good. Just, I'm sure this is a blessing to our viewers that, they don't have to listen to Skylar's bad takes all the time.
That's exactly right, man. I was just thinking that the viewership should definitely skyrocket tonight, as it normally does when you're on the show.
Well, no, everything's good, man. Just excited to kind of talk some ball, see where we're at. I mean, something that's really hard to think about is we're halfway through the regular season. We're here. We're in the middle of it. So you better enjoy it while it lasts. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. Well, let's get right into it tonight. As before we get started with our main rundown, I would like to give you our presenting show sponsor, and that sponsor is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he decided to start his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust Chris Smith Insurance. You can call them at 865-272-3387. As he says in the ad there, he's not just a big company there. He's going to be fighting for you. Chris Smith, he's been there from the beginning for us. And he will be there for you as well. So, Chris, we very much appreciate you for being our presenting show sponsors. So, Jake, tonight's rundown, we are going to recap that escaping win against Mississippi State last week. Had us on the edge of our seats for sure. Had us a bit nervous. We're going to recap that, give our thoughts on that game as well. Segment 2, we're going to give our SEC power rankings for the month of September. I don't know about you, Jake, but for me, I get that the week-by-week power rankings, they're fun, but I need to see a couple of weeks' worth of battles, kind of on the field type looks before I go in and say, I feel like this team is here, this team is here kind of thing. So yeah. I like to do that month by month, and that's what we're going to do in segment 2 tonight.
Yeah.
Segment 3, we are going to give our week 6 picks. Jake's going to make some picks tonight. I do have Skylar's picks as well. And then we're going to go Rakin with Jake again. And, we got some catching up to do. It was a bad week last week. And that's putting it lightly.
I think that's my worst week ever.
Honest.
I don't think I've ever gone 1-4.
I don't know if you have either. I think 2 and 3 is the worst that you've ever gone.
And we've done it a couple times this season.
So now this was the first time this season you went 1-4. We gone 2 and 3 twice, but first time this season going 1-4. So got some catching up to do. That is for sure. But let's get right into the show tonight. But before we do that, I would like to give you our segment 1 sponsor, that being Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. Contact Jeff Moe at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So let me get this graphic pulled up here as Tennessee defeats Mississippi State Saturday in Starkville in overtime, 41-34. Jake, initial thoughts on this game?
Oh man, ugly game. Very, very fortunate to come out of this one with a win. There was a lot of things that could have been done a lot better, and this game could have been put away a lot earlier. Just again, this is a gauntlet of a conference, as anybody knows. I'm very, very impressed with the way that our team never faltered. They continued to kind of just overcome adversity. I know that's something we hear a lot of times out of coach speak, but man, there were some times before we got that scoop and score. I thought that game was very, very close to being, nail in the coffin against us. The things that we were able to do, Mike Matthews, 2 receivers over 100 yards receiving, showing that Brazel doesn't have to do it all is a huge deal. Brazel would have had almost doubled his yardage if it wasn't for one of the worst offensive pass interferences I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, exactly.
Skylar chiming in a little bit. He's working. He's working. Yeah. Shaw, you are absolutely right. You know what they say, one of the maxims, if the brakes don't go our way, put on more steam. We got there. We got there. At the end of the day, we're sitting in the win column. I'd love to be able to say the same about your Gator, Shaw, but some things just don't happen. Honestly, kudos to Mississippi State. I think that looking at the score, you obviously can tell that they're a much more improved team than they were last year. Jade, I'm hoping. I'm kind of an intern at this point. He's always against me.
Jade, we're gonna see kind of how the analytics go on the show tonight, and then we'll make that decision a little bit later as far as if Skylar's allowed back or not. So
yeah, let him pick the 5 games and get all that pressure.
Said you mispronounced playing golf. Yeah, that's for sure. But
absolutely.
Now on a more serious note, well, first we'll go with this one. Jimmy says Jake already. So Jake's here tonight. So on a more serious note, Skylar, Tyree West was a breath of fresh air. He definitely was. I mean, he only had 2 tackles in the game, but man, his 2 tackles, that sack that he had the first time, and then the second one, the strip sack that Joshua Josephs takes all the way back to the house. Man, what a play. What a turn of events that gave Tennessee a little bit of momentum, allowing them to get back into the game. Because I'll be honest, at that point, Mississippi State had the momentum. Yeah. I think they probably would have drove down the field and scored if it wasn't for that strip sack that he had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't see any way with the game momentum that doesn't happen. Golly, I mean, it's funny. Did you expect to see Mississippi State run the ball as efficiently as they did against us?
I did not, but you think back to last season, and they were the most efficient running team against Tennessee then as well. So is it the scheme that Mississippi State has? I mean, it's very similar to what Josh Heupel runs, because him and Jeff Levy, they've worked together before. Is it something that Jeff Levy is drawing up that is just able to work against Tennessee, or what is that? Because you notice the run blocking for Mississippi State, our line is getting pushed back. But then when it comes to the pass blocking, our D-line is just blowing them up every single play.
And going back to Skylar saying, begging them to throw the ball in the first half. Yeah, I mean, I wanted them to I wanted them to pass it so much. I've never wanted a team to pass more than this game. Schematically, I couldn't tell exactly what they were doing. I knew what they were getting numbers wise. They're catching us in a weird front where they're able to essentially ISO a safety. I don't know if it was a lot of they had, when I say a 3-man surface, I'm talking, excluding the center, I'm talking guard and tackle. A lot of times you can have a third guy, whether that's a tight end, whether that's a short and split receiver. just kind of cause havocs with your angles. They ran a lot of what looked to be stretch, kind of what I hate to bring this up, but if you go back to what Georgia ran on us, they would hug it, they would turn, and they'd go up. All right, they would really just allow the time for the linebackers to get caught in the wash, and so that on top of the fact that I think Fluff is a freaking beast. I think that guy is a
amazing.
stud. I think that
Yes.
guy's very, very well off to NFL. I mean, he had 23 carries for what I'm reading this off here, 134 yards, and only his longest was 20. I mean, if you have a single safety look, he's probably breaking one of those. You just have better angles. He's a beast, man. I'm very impressed with him. Super
average 5.8 yards a carry in the game, just unreal.
Yeah. Tackling was left in Knoxville, says Jimmy. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do. I don't know what his height and weight is. I know he's a big boy. Just clicking into it, he's 5'10", 5'10", 230. I mean, that's a low mass, about 15 pounds heavier than Genty, and runs through your face. And great point, Shaw. I'm actually glad you brought this up. I was saying this previously, just because I love DBs. That's what what I did when I was working with Tennessee is I got to stand next to Terry Fair, Charles Kelly, those guys that really have worked with DBs, at a very good level. Obviously, Pruitt being a DB guy himself, I know there's just some darker days. They knew what they were doing. Colton Hood is phenomenal, man. I mean, he's gritty, very cerebral, very good in zone, not afraid, even with he's kind of got a smaller frame than what you would love to see out of a first round pick. About be the only thing that would make me hesitant off of his ability to make it in that first round would be his frame. But as far as his playmaking abilities, as far as his grittiness, as far as his toughness, and then just being able to see everything coming through, he's absolutely one of the biggest additions in the portal. Not getting enough recognition, in my opinion. I mean, I think he's only allowed like 30 or 40 yards passing on him all season. Somebody can correct me on that. I know before walking into Mississippi State, it was like 25 yards. So
yeah, I think you're right. It's somewhere around that like 40-yard mark.
He's a dog, man. He's a dog. I'm really, really interested to see how our scheme changes when you get McCoy back. No ill will towards what's Redmond. I think that you're going to be able to load the box a lot more and dare teams to pass it. I mean, this game that we just played, it wasn't based off of a pass. It was based off of them running it down our throat, and they were successful with it. So they only passed it. Golly, I'm surprised they passed it as much as they did, but they were 18 for 29. Shapen was, and he's not bad. But all in all, I mean, going back to what we got in the portal, he is a huge asset. I would love to convince him to stay for one more year. I would absolutely kill for that. He's one of my favorite players, honestly. So, wow, Shaw, thanks to push the right button. I mean, that I could go on and on about this, and this shall be till 11 o'clock, 12. But you're right. Tyree West, I think he showed. I'm impressed with Joseph's. Really, I have no issues with the way that we played. The guy Smith, is it Jalen Smith? I was really high on him for Mississippi State, man. He had a good game. I didn't really look at his stats as much. I just know he was around the ball a lot. Let's see. Yeah, he only had 4 tackles. Zero solo, 4 tackles. I still think in pass coverage he did a good job. That's going to be a guy who can play. I'm sad we lost him. He's a baller. So you'll kind of see that theme going on in the pick segment down the road.
but for me on the defensive side of the ball, the story of the game goes to Arion Carter. That dude was literally everywhere on defense. I mean, he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week. He has more tackles than anybody else in the conference by 15 tackles.
Seriously?
He has, let's see, I'm going to see if I can pull up his season stats, but he had 17 on Saturday, which puts him up to like 41 or 42 on the season.
I might be able to beat you there. I'm just saying he had 17 tackles. He had 17 tackles. Yeah.
He had six of them were solo, but 17 tackles for Arion Carter on Saturday. And I think the next closest person in the conference as far as tackles go is 26. So he is far and away got the most tackles in the SEC. There's no way that he could not be in the running for some kind of award at the end of the season. I forget what the award is for the best linebacker in the country, but there's no way in the world he cannot be in the running for that. But for me, on the defensive side of the ball, yes, there's a lot that needs to be worked on, especially that run defense. The run defense, you got to take a look at that and fix some things. Pass defense isn't bad. I mean, you only gave up in the game. You gave up less than 200. I mean, you gave up 180 yards through the air.
80?
I mean,
yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, even then, if you're the Saban maximum is less than I think 250. No, it's 150, which is it's like a perfect game.
Yeah, but you know, Tennessee, if you look at it on the season, they have given up more points than any other defense in the SEC this year. It's like 150 something points they've given up this year. But they've also scored more than anybody else in the conference as well. And when you actually do a deep dive into the numbers for the points that the Tennessee defense has given up, look at how many times the offense has put that defense in a bad situation. I mean, 14 points this past weekend came off of turnovers on short fields. One of them being the
three scores. We had 21. 21 points came off of being in plus territory off of turnovers.
What was the other one? So I know the punt at the beginning of the game,
the turnover, and then
one of the INTs. It was short field.
Third one.
The other one we actually stopped them because it was. I've got here 14 points off of turnovers for both teams.
I could be wrong. I heard something of 21, but even then, I mean, that's still a huge segment.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the Georgia game as well. You know, you had the interception in that game that was thrown. You were trying to throw the ball to Braylon Staley that he fell down. Yes, you got to stop, but they still got a field goal out of it. There was another turnover in that game. Georgia scores a touchdown off of. You got the UAB game, the interception over the middle that UAB had. I'm pretty sure they scored off of that drive there. When you give your defense short field, it makes it that much harder. And that's where a lot of points have come that Tennessee's defense has given up this year. They can only do so much whenever you give them a short field. But as far as the offensive side of the ball goes, we saw several drops that absolutely should have been had. The Mike Matthews play had his defender beat by 3 yards. That ball, granted, it hung up there forever. But that's the way that Joey Aguilar throws the ball. And he gives his receivers a chance to make a play on the ball. The ball was right in his breadbasket, and he dropped it. That was a sure touchdown. Obviously, you had the horrible PI call on Chris Brasley. That should have been a touchdown.
That's a felony call. I mean, you should be in jail for that as an official.
Absolutely. That was just awful. You had a couple of other different plays where there were drops as well. As far as the interceptions go for Joey Aguilar, for me, it's a two-way street. Yes, you can put as much blame as you want to on Miles Kitzman. The ball was in your hands. Yeah, you had to go up and try to make a play, but the play could have been made. On the other hand, Aguilar's got to get that ball down. That's been an issue all season long so far. He throws it high at times, and we saw it a lot in that first game of the season against Syracuse. Just overthrowing guys. You got to get the ball down a little bit, especially over the middle of the field like that, because if the wide receiver tips that ball up, the chances of an interception are so much greater. I mean, you look, both of his picks on Saturday, the ball was tipped straight up in the air, and Mississippi State player made a play on it to get the interception. The UAB game, tipped ball, interception. The other two interceptions I'm thinking of off the top of my head, you had the slip from Braylon Staley. That was not on Aguilar. That's just a unfortunate play.
There's one in a true at fault, which is the
that was the double coverage throw to Mike Matthews in the Georgia game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's blame that can be had on both parties there. Ultimately, it did not matter in this game. You did end up getting the win, and I was really nervous when the game went to overtime because of the way that Mississippi State was just running the ball all over Tennessee. And I mean, really, Mississippi State gave you a gift in overtime because when they got that big run, got it 1st and goal, if I'm not mistaken, was it 4 straight pass plays inside the 10-yard line for Mississippi State?
It felt like it. It didn't
Let's
make
see.
any sense.
Let me look at overtime here.
I'm just
So
going to the play-by-play right now. Let's see.
so Blake Shapen, yes, this one was about to be a pass play. He had to scramble out, and he got a yard off of it. They did run Fluff Bothwell up the middle to make it 2nd down from the they tried running it up the middle, and Tennessee stuffed it. So it was 3rd down and goal. Once again, Blake Shapen trying to scramble out, ends up getting stopped because there was nobody there. So then they have to pass it on 4th down. Arion Carter made a great play, knocking that ball away, and Tennessee survives.
Yeah, just a gift. Shaw, is there a drop problem for Matthews? Absolutely. I think that there's something to be said. I can give a freshman like Staley all the excuses in the world. I mean, he wasn't a big time recruit. He's just coming out here and proving it. I think that what you're seeing with Matthews is not a return on your investment. I'm very I don't want to say mad or angry, but I'm disappointed, man. I mean, this is one of the few guys that, from my understanding, held out for more money. Yes, is he more productive this season than last? Well, yeah, that's because we had Dante Thornton, and you had guys. You had a lot more weapons around you. I think we'll be fine. I think Matthews can get it fixed. I mean, kind of going back to the point of what you said, Michael, with the way that you kind of have to bring that ball down for Joey. I mean, I'm sure we're telling the guys the same. Think about if you're doing any type of workout. I mean, you don't have much to do here. I'm only moving my wrist versus where I can kind of embrace that impact here. I don't even think he's a Keon Coleman. He's not as big. I've seen him in person. I think he's just kind of, I don't I don't want to hate on the guy. He's still had 100 yards. I think he dropped it maybe twice. One big one that was kind of he might have 2 or 3 drops at most. But yeah, I mean, I'm tired of the backs dropping them too. If I see Deshaun Bishop drop one more ball.
And the bad thing is, I bragged on Star Thomas last week. He was the only running back that had yet to drop a pass, and sure enough, he dropped one in that game. Matter of fact, I think he dropped 2 of them in the game. I mean, yes, the running backs, they've got to do better at holding on to the ball. You got to catch the ball first before you can turn upfield. It's not like whenever you get the ball in the backfield, that ball's being put directly into your belly. You got to see that ball all the way into your hands. You got to catch that ball first and then turn upfield. Yeah, I completely agree with you. In my opinion, right now, the only person on the team that does not have a drop problem is Chris Brazzell. I mean, he's bobbled a couple, like that one over the middle on that 4th down play, which, by the way, we've got to talk about that drive, by the way. But that 4th down play, it was bobbled a little bit, but he came down with it. Fantastic play by Joey Aguilar and by Chris Brazzell. But I mean, Chris Brazzell is without a doubt our best receiver, our most reliable receiver. I mean, he's probably missed 1 or 2 that I'm not thinking of, but most of the time, if you put the ball up in the air and it's a one-on-one play, Chris Brazzell is going to be the one coming down with that ball. That defender is not going to come down with it. But let's talk about what most Tennessee fans, most Tennessee podcasters, analysts, whatever you may call them, are calling Joey Aguilar's Heisman drive. That final drive, the final scoring drive of the game in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, I mean,
what a possession by Tennessee. As Mississippi State is up 34-27 at this time. Tennessee gets the ball with 7 minutes and 59 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time, obviously, for Tennessee to drive down the field and score. And you would think that, Tennessee, they'd take it right down the field, try to score as quick as they can. All right, let's play some defense. I'm just going to go play-by-play here, and we can kind of talk about it. First down play, pass out to Chris Brazzell. He steps out of bounds, 11-yard gain. Second play, Star Thomas gets an 8-yard gain. Star Thomas, once again, up the middle, 3 yards, another first down. We got 1st and 10 at the 47. This drive is looking fantastic, is it not? I mean, we're just moving right down the field at this point. Next one is a pass for 1 yard to Mike Matthews. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one where he kind of had to roll around and find Matthews at the last second.
Yeah, and I thought that it was more. I think we both thought it was going to be more yardage, but there was a weird spot there, right?
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird spot there too. Next play, 2nd down and 9. He had a Star Thomas rush up the middle, 1 yard gain. Mississippi State did a great job on defense at that point, stopping Star Thomas. So we got actually it's a 1 yard loss. I'm sorry, not a 1 yard gain. So 3rd down and 10, and you end up running kind of a little screen pass play, maybe a little dump down option because of the rush. Get it to Star Thomas. He picks up 6 yards on the play, and we got 4th down. And at this point, there's 5 minutes left on the clock. I think that, and you've got the ball on the Mississippi State 47-yard line, so you're in plus territory at this point. I credit Josh Heupel and Joey Halsley, whoever made the decision. Obviously, Josh Heupel had the biggest impact on this, deciding to go for it on 4th down, because the way Mississippi State was running the ball, I think if you give them the ball back in that situation, no matter where they get the ball, they're going to pick up enough yards that they're going to run the clock out. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, because we can talk about clock management. You know, it was really poor kind of towards the end of the second half. But I think that as far as his philosophy going into these last 7 to basically end of the game, or in his eyes, end of the game, I loved what he did. He's got a set of gonads on him for going for it on 4th and 4 right at the 50. Because I'll tell you what, my defensive-minded side, I would have kicked that ball, hoped I got it on the 1 yard line, and gone, saying maybe we can force them out and get the ball back. Because I think at this point, both teams had all timeouts. So, man, we can talk about all the mistakes. That was definitely the right decision to go for it.
It definitely was. And it didn't look like it was going to at the beginning of the plays. It looked like Joey Aguilar got a little bit frantic, had to kind of roll out of the pocket just a little, found Brazel over the middle, a high pass once again that Brazel kind of bobbled, came down with it, 1st down. At that point, I felt like there was hope for the drive. You decide to run Star Thomas once again, didn't get much on 1st down. 2nd and 10, you get the pass down the field to Mike Matthews for a 17-yard gain. You got it 1st down at this point at the 18-yard line. Once again, feeling good. You're down to about 3.5 minutes left on the clock at this point. Still plenty of time. Get to Deshaun Bishop, run up the middle for 6 yards. 2nd down and 4, another run for Deshaun Bishop, 3 yards. Still feeling good. It's 3rd down and 1. Then the freshman. The freshman. Granted, the first game he's gotten to play in all season because of his injury. David Sanders gets a false start penalty. Just gets a little bit antsy there. 3rd down and 6.
Jimmy said it right, man. David Sanders came in fired up. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw him smacking his head. This guy wanted to run through your face. I want to make a comment on this real quick. David Sanders is going to be a very good football player.
He is, absolutely.
You can see it from pass protection. He's honestly, I think he's better at pass protection than he is at run, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, especially coming out of high school like that.
It's pretty impressive what he's able to do. So that was absolutely, I was laughing at this point, kind of cynically, where you just can't help yourself but to laugh as the guy gets the false start. He's been so ready to play all year. Can you blame that guy? Can you blame him?
He was fired up, but at that point in the game, you got to have the discipline to make sure that you stay within yourself and don't cost your team yards at that point, because that could have been a detrimental penalty for Tennessee.
It should have been. That puts you into your whole playbook's open to, okay, we're passing.
Yeah, 3rd down and 6, and Joey Aguilar finds Braylon Staley out in the flat, short of the 1st down. And what about the effort from Braylon Staley to get that 1st down? Picks up 8 yards on that play. And then the 2-minute warning happens. And the play call from Josh Heupel coming out of the 2-minute warning, lining your 2 tight ends up, the running back all on one side there, and just, all right, Joey, follow behind these guys. And they put a hole that you and I could have gone through. Now, granted, it did take one little move for Joey Aguilar right there at the goal line. But it was a hole big enough you and I could have gone through to score that touchdown.
Could you imagine them making that play call with Nico? I mean,
It
that's
wouldn't have worked.
that was a lead. That was almost like a just type of lead block. I think we motioned into it if I remember correctly. We kind of shifted or motioned to get numbers on there, and then you see Aguilar put his daggum head down and get there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
No chance we're getting that. We're getting all the way across. Granted, yeah, Nico's faster, but you ain't getting somebody who's putting his daggum head down and running through it. Like that's. Oh man, that drive was just beautiful. You're right. I think that shows you what Joey's about. We can talk about the interceptions all day. He's got 5. Wow, Jimmy. Um, we can talk about the interceptions all day, but we've got ourselves a leader here. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think we win the Natty with Joey instead of Nico last year.
We're winning the Natty this year.
We could.
Oh, I absolutely think that we can, because I'll be totally honest. I think Tennessee's got every opportunity in the world this season to go 11-1, make the SEC title game. Obviously, at that point, you're in the playoffs. Am I picking Tennessee to win the national title? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
I mean, if I put my orange glasses on right here, yeah, we're winning the Natty. We're going to win it every single year.
Yeah.
But I would be a fool to sit here and say I think Tennessee is going to win the Natty. But do I think that they could be one of the 12 teams in the playoffs to absolutely have a shot to do it? 100%.
I need to write the time stamp down for this, because I just don't want to see us on some like crazy Arkansas board or Georgia board, being postered all over the place on propaganda. So 31 minutes in, we need to let them see the full clip here.
Yeah. No, but do you have anything else on this game before we move ahead to the next segment? Because I mean, for me, I feel like this game was a test for Tennessee that they 100% passed. For the majority of the game,
Yeah,
I feel like Mississippi State had control.
Yeah.
And this was a game that past Tennessee teams would have absolutely lost.
Yeah.
I said it at the beginning of the season, I did not feel like that the Alabama game, the Florida game, I didn't feel like those were going to be the trap games, because 100% Tennessee is going to be ready to play in those games. Now, are they going to win? We don't know, because we have yet to win in those games. But if there was going to be a trap game that Tennessee would lose to an opponent that they shouldn't, it was going to be this game. I didn't expect Mississippi State to be as good as they are, but I felt like this was going to be the trap game, and it almost was for Tennessee. So for them to go in there and get a win the way that they did, this was huge for Tennessee moving forward. So since it's, PG-13, there's no other comments.
Thank God,
finally. This one up, so.
He's walking on thin ice, and he knows it. We had a great conversation, previously.
What was it? A great conversation or just a conversation?
It was just a conversation. It was just a conversation. I'm glad to see you back, Nathaniel. I'm glad to see you back. So,
but no, any final thoughts on this game?
No, I think, talking about we passed with a 71 and a 70 was needed to pass. You got about a 40 or a 35 in the first half, and you got maybe an 80 in the second half, with a couple of pretty outstanding drives. So just happy to get the win out. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, look, and what did we say about Georgia after they ended up beating Tennessee? Good teams, they can play with anybody. Great teams find a way to win. Am I saying that Tennessee is a great team? No, they're not. But they're leaning more towards that great rather than towards that mediocre type team, and they found a way to win. And that's what you got to do in this game.
You don't stay still. You only go up or you go down. So good trajectory.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, 100%. So that is our recap on Mississippi State. Let's move ahead. We're going to make some SEC power rankings. But before we do that, I would like to give you our segment 2 sponsor, that being P&L Business Services. P&L Business Services is a full-service bookkeeping, payroll, tax, and consulting firm for small to mid-sized businesses. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, We go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. You can go online at pnlbusinessservices.com. You can talk to Miss Leanne and the gang, and they can get you all set up for all of your bookkeeping payroll needs. P&L Business Services, we very much appreciate you being our segment 2 sponsors. So with that, let's change this graphic here over to our power rankings graphic. And what we'll do, I actually have Skylar's power rankings as well. So we'll be giving Skylar's power rankings as well as our power rankings. And let's start from the bottom, because I feel like the bottom is a little bit more set with who is towards the bottom than the top. I feel like the top is kind of a jumbled mess in the SEC. So
everybody knows the bottom. There's not a one question who the worst team in the SEC is this year, and I love it.
Yeah, number 16. It's at 100%. Skylar says it. I'm saying it. I'm sure Jake is saying it as well. It's Kentucky. Kentucky is number 16, and there's no question about it. I mean, right now, Kentucky on the season is 2-2, 0-2 in the SEC, and you nearly lost to Toledo in the first game of the season. That was my upset pick in the first week of the season. Unfortunately, it did not happen, but Toledo covered the spread, and that spread was at 9.5 whenever it finally closed. Yeah, that's Kentucky is not a good football team.
Terrible.
They might win one more game this year, and that's not even a guarantee. Kentucky is not going to win an SEC game this year. That's for sure.
What's their ranking right now? What's their the record?
The record is 2-2 right now, and looking ahead at the rest of the season for Kentucky, they got Georgia this week. Then they play Texas and Tennessee at home. They play at Auburn and home against Florida. Their other win will probably come against Tennessee Tech. And then you got at Vanderbilt and at Louisville to finish off the season.
Yeah, and I just want to say my week 0 pick was Kentucky under 4.5. Just want to go back to week 0.
I felt like that was easy money.
It was.
Yeah.
So now we're going to probably disagree on this 15 spot.
Okay. Well, let me give Skylar's first. Skylar's got Arkansas at the 15th spot, and I think I'm going to agree with him. I've got Arkansas at number 15 because you just absolutely got your tail whipped by Notre Dame at home. You also lost to a group of 5 team. Granted, it was on the road, and that's not a bad group of 5 team. That's a team that is absolutely going to be competing for a college football playoff spot out of the group of 5 in Memphis. But you're an SEC team that should absolutely beat Memphis. Not to mention your head coach just got fired. Now, do I think that might be an upgrade for Arkansas going forward? Yeah, I think Bobby Petrino is probably going to be a better coach than Sam Pittman overall. But it's not looking good for Arkansas for the rest of the season. So I've got Arkansas at 15 as well as Skylar.
I'm starting to think, looking at it, South Carolina might be my number 15 team.
South Carolina.
Yeah. So just a spot that I think, and the only reason I think that is I think there's only up for Arkansas. I think Petrino and the whole defensive staff has been fired too.
Yeah, I saw that.
They've just purged. So again, once you hit rock bottom, there's only one way up. You can't go any further down, I think, in this point, because ain't nobody lower down than Kentucky this year. Ain't no question. Arkansas would still beat Kentucky by probably 10.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because here's what Arkansas has that Kentucky doesn't. Arkansas has at least got Taylor Green. Arkansas has at least got Taylor Green. Taylor Green is the best part of that football program. And they really don't have anything else. They definitely don't have a defense.
No.
But even that
53
defense.
to a team that wants to run the ball.
Even, by the way, Jeremiah Love, he just absolutely carved up that defense. I mean, I think he had 4 or 5 touchdowns in the game. Man, that was just awful. But even Arkansas's defense could hold Kentucky to, 24 points, something like that, because they just cannot score points.
Yeah.
So, number 14, I'll go first on this one. This is where I have Florida. I've got Florida at 14 for the simple fact that that offense is awful. Now that defense, that if you give Tennessee Florida's defense right now, they would have beat Georgia, and I would have them going undefeated on the regular season and probably at least making a semifinals of the playoff. Florida's defense is legit. They've only given up 2 or 3 offensive touchdowns all season long, but the offense for Florida, it's almost non-existent. And if DJ Lagway does not play the rest of the season because he's dealing with an injury, and it's very possible that he could sit out with the way the season is going, there's nowhere for Florida to go because you know who their backup quarterback is? Harrison Bailey. Harrison Bailey is the backup quarterback. So,
do you think you would take Merklinger or Bailey?
Absolutely, I would take Merklinger.
Okay. That was just a probing question. No right or wrong there. I just wanted to see where your brain was. Man, I don't know. This is to me number 15 is Arkansas because I'm just kind of interchanging. It's one of those where it's Skylar. I'm kind of with Skylar. I don't know. But regardless, I'm getting on a side tangent. I think Florida's defense is very, 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 very good. I mean, I'm thinking maybe top 15, top 10 in the country type deal. Kind of the same thing which you think of LSU. But again, I just think that Florida has the ability to run the ball. That's a tale as old as time. I think that they're going to pick up a win or two. I've not completely counted them out. Actually, there's some metrics out there saying that if Florida goes 8-4, they have a chance to make the playoffs, which is hilarious to me. It's not going to happen.
There's no way.
There's no way in any world that happens. But they do have one of the hardest schedules. If this is this a rating or a ranking?
Make it your own.
Because if I'm taking neutral side, I'm taking Florida over Arkansas and South Carolina, and I'm taking them over Kentucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So South Carolina can be argued.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you have at 14?
14 to me, probably. Just looking at what I have left on the list. Oh God. Probably Auburn. I mean, probably Auburn.
So you and Skylar are in alignment on this one. He has Auburn at 14 as well. Yeah. I mean, I will say Auburn.
They're one-dimensional.
They're very one-dimensional. I mean, Jackson Arnold, he makes it worse on himself in the backfield. I mean, you look at the Oklahoma game. Those 10 sacks that Oklahoma had, I'd say probably 8 of them were on Jackson Arnold. It wasn't on the offensive line. I mean, they're very one-dimensional. In let's see, let me go back real quick. In SEC play over the last 2 games against Oklahoma and against Texas A&M, do you know what Auburn is on third down?
Oh God, it's got to be a is it single digits?
They are 2 for, I believe it's 30 something.
So
they did not convert a
single digits.
They did not convert a single third down in the Texas A&M game.
Oh, good God. And that's kind of a half empty, half full look. Going back, I want to talk about, Jimmy with Florida because I'm high on Florida, right? I almost feel bad putting Auburn there because, I think that Auburn has one of the best wide receiving cores in the country, and they have no idea what to do with it.
100%.
It's like you just threw a kid who's like 4 the keys to a Bugatti, and he's like, okay, I'm going to jingle it, I guess. Maybe take it for a walk. Jimmy, I see a world where, and I hate to say this, I see a world where you're right. I just think that Florida's defense is disgusting. I think that I just think there's a lot of ball players there on the defensive side that's going to allow them to stay in games, and they're going to mess around and win one. I mean, think about when we were going 8-4, 6-6. We were still winning one game. We weren't. I mean, Florida's got an all-world schedule. They may not win 5 games this year, but they're a better team than advertised. The problem is they don't get to play any of these teams that we're looking at on the power rankings.
Yeah.
So,
So I was slightly wrong. So over the last 2 games against Texas A&M and Oklahoma, they are 3 for 27 on third down.
but I mean, what?
All three of those
That's
conversions were against Oklahoma.
that's still right at 11%. That is vile.
That's terrible.
That's awful. How and that tells you two things. That means that schematically they don't know what they're doing in on first and second down, or it means that their quarterback is putting them in a spot that they can't recover from. So that's awful. Honestly, that's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Um, it,
So
Jimmy, if that happens, if we start to see guys being hurt, that you're absolutely right. But in this world, with the NIL, you got to think now you have an individual coach, aka your money making machine, your agent, telling you, well, you probably need to play because this is what it's going to look like from a PR perspective. There's a lot that goes into this now. I think I don't think Lagway will sit. I just don't think that you want to take that. Now, the only way they could spin that is like, if hey, I'm hurt, I don't want to hurt my draft stock. But like, what more could he have to lose after throwing 5 picks to LSU?
yeah.
So I don't know. I'm indifferent. I mean, Florida has a hell of a defense. Pardon my language. I don't know how to feel when it comes to what their upside is. It's just such a hard schedule. Yeah.
So number 13, you go first on this one. Who you got at 13?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Florida. I mean, until they prove me wrong, I think that they're one of the better defenses. But they can't produce anything offensively. I really hate that for them. I think they're a better roster than teams like Missouri and Mississippi State. But I can't put them there. Heck, they're a better roster than Vanderbilt.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where I'm at on them.
So Skylar and I are in agreement at 13. I've got South Carolina there, and so does he. South Carolina was a team that coming into the season I was very, very high on. I mean, I felt like, and Florida was too, because I felt like Lenore Sellers and DJ Lagway, I bought into the hype.
They were both top 10.
I felt like they were going to lead their teams to at least a 9-win season, both of them.
Yeah.
Possibly a college football playoff. Everything was in front of them. And they've just fell flat, both teams. So both of us have South Carolina at 13. Skylar at number 12. He has Missouri at number 12. And for me, I've got Missouri a little bit higher. I'll kind of give my reasons on that whenever I get to them. But granted, Missouri have not played anybody. I'll give them that. They, you can say Kansas, you can say South Carolina. Well, they dominated South Carolina. So Missouri, they definitely have left a lot to be desired, but Bo Pribula has looked good, in my opinion. At number 12, this is where I've got Auburn. I feel like neutral site that Auburn could beat the teams that I have below them. South Carolina, Florida, Arkansas, and Kentucky. And I just don't think that they can beat anybody else above them. As you mentioned, very one-dimensional. If they don't have a run game, then they're not going to win the game. Now, they've got a pretty decent defense. I mean, when you look, they played against Oklahoma within a touchdown, only gave up 24 points. Texas A&M held them to 16 points. But if you can't score points, you can't win a game. So that's where I've got Auburn coming in. Who do you have at 12?
I'm kind of in agreement with Skylar here, and it's probably because I have a little bit of bias because they've played literally nobody. I mean, you already know how poorly I think of South Carolina right now. So, I mean, right now I've got them at 12. I agree with Skylar on this. They've got 2 guys on their offense. They've got Hardy. So if you can run RPO, I mean, I'm going to throw numbers. If I have a brain cell, I'm going to be able to throw numbers in the RPO game, and that's probably what they're doing. Again, I have not watched a lot of them, but look at what Nico was able to do with Dylan Sampson. He had us buying fool's gold. So I don't think Bo whatever his name is, still can't pronounce his last name. I don't think he's amazing. I just think it's interesting. Cole, I want to chime in on Cole. what happens with our game against Oklahoma at home? Just curious. Cole, dude.
You want
So,
my opinion? It's all going to depend on if John Material is healthy and playing in that game.
well, I think he will. Pull that. If you don't mind to pull that up. So, wanted to go back. This is, in my opinion, tied with Alabama as the biggest game remaining on our schedule. I think Oklahoma's got some really, really fast guys around the perimeter that scare the crap out of me when it comes to trying to throw screens or have that extension of the run game. I've seen Oklahoma falter a little bit with the intermediate passes. I'm excited because if you stick around with us, you'll kind of see where I have them ranked. But man, Mateer's good. Can we stop a running quarterback? We've yet to really see one. That's what's just so scary about this game. Arkansas to me is what Oklahoma is like what they're looking towards. I know they're similar in color. They kind of play this similar ball style with it just being a straight spread. So I think you'll get some indicators after the bye week if we're able to stop Taylor Green. I have no key on this. I was high on Oklahoma pretty early after kind of watching what they were able to do. I can't remember who they played week 1, but I thought that they looked pretty good. So, man, I don't know. That one worries me. That one really worries me. And Heupel's going to be in his head. But if anything, I'm hoping that gives you an extra bump into it. So, yeah, I mean that's all I got for you. Now we're going back. Are we agree Missouri at 12, and you say Auburn, right?
Yeah, I said Auburn at 12. So
Okay.
Number 11, I'll go first on this one. This is where I have Mississippi State. I think Mississippi State is they're a decent team. I still think that they have a lot left to be desired overall, but they really improved themselves from last season. I mean, they're over under win total on the year. They've already surpassed. It was 3.5 coming in. They've already won 4 games. They're 4-1 on the season. I think they are going to jump up and they're going to get somebody in the SEC this year, maybe even a couple of teams. Their remaining schedule, they've got Texas A&M this weekend. They could absolutely slip up and beat Texas A&M. You go to Florida after a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the date pulled up on that, but you go to Florida after that game against Texas A&M. That game's going to be tough in the swamp, but I think you can absolutely beat Florida. You got Texas at home. I do think Texas is better. They're going to beat you. You're going to beat Arkansas. You're probably going to lose to Georgia, but I think you win against one of, or maybe even both of, Missouri on the road and Ole Miss at home. At the beginning of the season, I said this is a spot that I think Mississippi State can beat Ole Miss, and I still think that. Now, granted, at the beginning of the season, I had Mississippi State going 4-8 on the season with their one win in conference being this Egg Bowl at the end of the season.
That's crazy.
I can see Mississippi State becoming bowl eligible this year by winning 6 games, maybe even a 7th somewhere along the line. I still think they've got some stuff they need to work on, but you mentioned it. Fluff Bothwell, that's a dude. And if they can get just enough from Blake Shapen, which I think that they will, then Mississippi State's going to be fine because that defense is not bad at all. No, they're a little bit suspect on the pass defense, kind of like Tennessee was a couple years ago, but that run defense is solid.
Yeah.
So I think Mississippi State's going to slip up and beat some folks. I've got them at number 11.
Yeah. Man, can't go wrong with it.
What you got at 11?
I thought I'm really confused if I deleted a team or not because I'm looking back. So I've named Kentucky, Arkansas, Auburn, South Carolina, Missouri, Florida.
Did you have Arkansas or did you? I thought you went South Carolina at 15.
Went South Carolina at 15.
I've got so this is what I've got. This is what I've got for you right now. I've got Kentucky at 16, South Carolina at 15, Auburn at 14, Florida at 13, Missouri at 12.
Have I not named Arkansas? You said
you have not.
I've not named Arkansas yet.
You have not.
Let's do this. I want to put Arkansas. Oh God, did I really not?
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I must
name
have
them.
deleted them. They're bottom 2. So forego that one. Just put them at bottom 2, right above I'd probably
Put
take
them above
Auburn.
Kentucky. Oh, above Auburn?
I think I'd put them above Auburn.
Okay.
I know that's a terrible, terrible thing to say. I just think that, again, their quarterback's a little bit better, and I think they're in kind of a weird boat.
So this is the spot then that you have Missouri at 11. Because what I've got for you right now after fixing that is Kentucky at 16, South Carolina at 15, Auburn at 14, Arkansas at 13, Florida at 12, and Missouri at 11.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we kind of talked about Missouri on the last one. This is where Skylar has Florida, and he did say, Florida's got a tough schedule, but with that defense, Florida has got a chance to win any game. They just got to be able to score on offense. So that's where Skylar has Florida. Now, number 10, Jake, you go first on this one.
Oh, Texas. No, wait. Did I not rank? Did I not rank Florida? I've already put Florida down.
Yeah, you put Florida at 12 behind Missouri.
Okay. I feel like I'm missing. I'm just deleting them as I go. So I'm picking the next worst team. That's fine then. I mean, I guess my gut's telling me that I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I mean, if so, you're asking me for my 10 spot. No, I'm going Mississippi State for my 10 spot. I still want to keep Texas where they're at. I guess I don't know where to place. Again, this is a weird year. It's a weird year.
Yeah.
Why have I not picked Vanderbilt yet?
That's why I said earlier, I feel like the bottom half of the conference is, you can swap a few teams here and there depending on people's opinions. But I feel like the bottom half of the conference is very set. But the top half, it's wide open.
I mean, I could do an A and B tier list, or I'd be fine on that. I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
But you're telling me to pick one team over another, and it's ugly against ugly.
So Mississippi State at 10 for Jake. Skylar and I are in agreement here at number 10. We both got Texas. And that seems very low for Texas, but what have they done? I mean, you got beat by Ohio State.
They held Ohio State to 14 points.
They did. They did. But they also only scored 7, and Arch Manning looked terrible in the process.
Yeah.
And in Texas, other games so far, pulling up their schedule real quick.
They played nobody. I was looking at it earlier.
That's exactly right. They have played nobody. I mean, the best game that Arch Manning had was against Sam Houston, where they won 55-0, and he acted like he did something. Yeah. So they played against San Jose State and won 38-7, but Arch Manning did not look good in that game. UTEP, you won 27-10. That's supposed to be little brother, man. That's supposed to be little brother, and you did not play well in that game. Granted, Texas defense has looked great this season.
They're good.
I mean, holding Ohio State to 14 points, holding San Jose State, and say what you will about these teams, but San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston, you held them to a combined 17 points. I don't care who your opponent is. If you hold them to that few points, that's good. So, do I think Texas has every way in the world of making it to the top half of the conference, the top 5 of the conference? I do. But Arch Manning's got to prove something to me before I say that he's going to be, or that Texas is going to be in the top half of the conference. Because the way I see it right now, Texas goes at 9-3 at absolute best and misses the playoffs this season, the way that they're playing right now.
Yeah.
So number 9, I give Skylar's pick first. This is where he's got Mississippi State. So he's got neutral site, Mississippi State beating Texas. And you know what? Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
No chance. No. This is where I'm going to draw a hard line and say Vanderbilt is that number 9 team.
Vanderbilt's number 9.
It's obvious. Vanderbilt has the same problem Texas has. They've played nobody. The only difference is Texas had to play
Missouri.
Say it again.
So Vanderbilt's kind of rivaling or looking like Missouri then, just hadn't played anybody, right?
Yes, but I mean, the only problem with Missouri right now is like they only have 2 players. Vanderbilt has maybe 3. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they've got, I think, a quarterback who's a gamer. So I don't see them doing anything for me. Diego Pavia, he's okay. Yeah, I mean that one's a pretty pretty simple one for me, in my opinion. I don't see any other team on this list that I'm like, wow, Vandy should outright be favored on this one.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And this is why we make it our own here. Um, I'll get my thoughts on Vanderbilt whenever I get to them. So I did just make a swap after thinking about it for a little bit. So originally I had Oklahoma in this spot, but I've got Missouri at number 9. And Missouri, I think they're a good team. They're going to be much better this year than I thought they would be. But once again, they have not played anybody yet. Yeah, you've got Hardy at running back. He's doing a lot of the work. I think Bo Pribula is a better quarterback than what people give him credit for. I do think having Hardy at running back, it definitely helps things out, kind of like you made the comparison earlier. Dylan Sampson last year hit a lot of things about Nico. Granted, same deal here. Hardy has a lot of issues for Pribula, but I think he's a better quarterback than what people are giving him credit for. I think Mississippi State's going to win some games this year that they probably shouldn't have coming into the season. Yeah. Do I think they're a college football playoff team? Absolutely not. But I think Missouri is a good team this year.
Yeah, I mean they're playing Alabama coming up. They're playing Vanderbilt, A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma. They're probably an 8-4 team.
It's a very favorable schedule. Yeah. All right, so moving into the top half of the conference, this is where I've got Oklahoma. And you might say this is a little bit low for Oklahoma, but
I agree.
I feel like for Oklahoma, they're definitely exceeding my expectations for what I thought they would be coming into the season, because they've proven on the offensive side of the ball. Brent Venables has proven to me that he's going to step out of the spotlight. He's not going to micromanage everything. He's going to let his offensive coordinator do his job, and that's opened up the Oklahoma offense a little bit. And they've played well this season. The defense is still really good. Here's why I drop Oklahoma. I would probably have them at number 6 coming in if it wasn't for the fact that John Materia is out. John Materia is a good quarterback. Now, granted, is he the absolute world beater that everybody thought he was going to be coming into it? Absolutely not. Should he be a Heisman frontrunner? Absolutely not. But John Materia is a good quarterback, and I wonder, can Michael Hawkins lead Oklahoma the way that John Materia has so far? And I think that answer is no. So I think that you're going to see Oklahoma take a little bit of a step back here in the middle part of the season. I mean, you got Texas coming up that you're not going to have John Materia for. So you might not even have John Materia for the Tennessee game in November. I know he's projected to come back for that game or before that game. But if you do not have a healthy John Materia coming back, I think Oklahoma is going to have a season that they would like to forget. But I do think Oklahoma is a good football team. They've, once again, got every opportunity in the world to move up this list. But they also had the opportunity to move down this list.
Go back to Jimmy's comment real quick, talking about beating Auburn team at home on an illegal play.
That's a fair point.
Jimmy, I was just looking at their schedule. They could be pulling us some snake oil, because I was high on Oklahoma. I know if you followed the podcast the past couple of weeks, I know Michael knows that I thought the world of Oklahoma. Yeah, they beat Michigan. I expected them. They won me that bet. They beat Auburn. Great. They won me that bet. I'm pretty sure I bet that one.
Yep.
Dude, they've got to play Texas at Texas. They got to play Ole Miss at home. They've got to play us at home. They got to play Alabama at Alabama. They got to play Missouri at home, and then they got to play LSU at home. They might be a 7-5 team. I mean, I don't think they will, but prove me wrong. I'd love to see it. The one thing that scares me about them is there's some teams you can kind of watch, and this is me kind of boosting my ego a little bit. There's some teams you can watch defensively that just play some hard-nosed ball, and I'll get to one of those teams. There's a team on here who I think is maybe a top 7 team in the country for the SEC that some people might not agree with me on. But that's Oklahoma has a very, very violent defense. I talk about good defenses in Florida, but when you have a violent defense and a leader at quarterback, that's going to lead to some really good things. That's what happened with us in 2022. Yeah, we gave up points. Hendon Hooker was a leader, and we had a defense that was violent. They wanted to go for your neck. Yeah, they'd give up some 20, 30-yard passes or some big runs because we would blitz on a box that wasn't favorable to us on a schematic side. But Oklahoma can do some really cool things. I mean, again, if this comes down to one possession, it's anybody's ball game. That's kind of what, no offense, but that's what happened in 2022 in that magical season. Oklahoma is one of those teams where they could be 18 or they could be 8, know? So
is that the spot you have Oklahoma too at number 8?
Oh God, do I? Let's see. How many teams I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dang it, I do. Dang it, I do. So yeah. Jimmy, you're kind of right. Looking in retrospect, it's hard to kind of evaluate it. That's tough, man. I like Oklahoma. I like them being a new addition. Crazy they're in the SEC.
Yeah. So Skylar at number 8 has got LSU, and I'm gonna segue that into my number 7 because that's where I have
That's
LSU.
my 7. That's my 7. I know we probably need to speed this up. So
yeah. So LSU, to me, the defense is good. Offense, they've got a lot to work on, and Brian Kelly coming out name blaming after every single
what a loser.
Close win, close loss.
He is a loser.
I'm out on Brian Kelly.
He runs a geriatric offense that takes forever to set up. I can't tell what he is about. At least with Heupel, he'll die on the sword when it comes to running the ball. We get really mad. We're like, why are we running the ball? Why are we running the ball? Heupel, going back to last week, this is my bet. If I was a betting man, at the half, everybody was mad because he's not going for the throat at Mississippi State. I think he was so pissed off that he didn't even want our ball. He didn't want a ball out there. I think he ran the clock out because of that reason. That's my honest opinion. I'd love to get some inside information on that. Brian Kelly's so wishy-washy, man. I can't tell what his game plan is. And that's a problem because you got to kind of show a bluff. You kind of have to show, either your hand or a bluff. He's got nothing here, man. I don't understand what they're doing. Can you name me one receiver for LSU?
Not a chance.
Well, that's what they've been showing is that, Garrett Nussmeier is a Heisman winner. Well, a Heisman winner typically has a pretty good wide receiver. Are they running the ball efficiently? Yeah, they're not scoring. I mean, they're not doing anything. But they're so daggum talented. How are you that talented? I've recruited guys from that Delta area, man. I mean, it is very easy to make LSU a top 5 team. It is like if you were to take a job, that is a top 4 job in the country, as long as you have the same amount of money as everybody else. I don't know if that's the problem. Man, LSU just blows my mind. And kudos to Ole Miss. I think I watched. I don't know if you watched the ESPN documentary on Lane Kiffin. Man, he's
I have not yet.
Watch that. It gives some really good insight. Guys, sometimes again, you're a player 2 away from making the playoffs. You're a player 2 away from making a bowl game. You're a player 2 from winning a game. Brian Kelly has zero character that I would want to play for, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So they're going to continue to be we're at 7.
Yeah.
Way to be mediocre. You're 1 away from 8. You're at the very midpoint of the SEC. We thought you were a front runner with a Heisman, and we thought you were a front runner for the national championship. Way to go! I mean, unreal. I'm very disappointed. I like to see LSU good. So yeah, they're 7. They're 7.
So number 7 for Skylar, and me personally, I'm not crapping on his opinion here, but he's got Texas A&M, and for me, I just find that kind of low for Texas A&M at number 7.
Hey, I told you I like the team that plays some good ball on defense, man.
Yeah, I'll give my thoughts on that whenever I get to it. But so number 6.
Well, talking about Lane Kiffin.
Ooh, Ole Miss at number 6.
I don't think that they have as much firepower as we were led to believe. Yeah, do I think Shamlis had a flawless game? Great. But if you're undervaluing LSU, what has Ole Miss done this season to really impress you?
That's true.
I'm actually looking up their schedule right now. They're kind of very similar to Tennessee, and people might hate me for the way that I rank Tennessee. I mean, they beat Tulane, they beat Kentucky by 7, they beat Arkansas by 7. They killed Georgia State, and they beat Duke. Well, that's in the Gator Bowl. again, they've not really played. They played a middle of the pack SEC team. That's their best win. If we're calling LSU, maybe a top 20 team, I'd say if I were to rank them, and this is without trying to like really go in the nitty gritty, LSU is probably like the 18th or 17th best team in the country, in my opinion.
Ole Miss is probably like 14th or 15th.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would have. I think we're undervalued, which is fine, but that's my opinion. I think Ole Miss, they don't really have an identity. They have a hell of a coach. I think they have I hate saying this. Sorry, Heupel. They have a better coach than we do right now as far as offensive game planning, and being able to bend a little bit and kind of adjust. Again, I really think that there's a lot to work on. It's hard. Ole Miss, and going back to Nathaniel, I know he's not listening now because we kind of toned him out, thank God. Mississippi State and the state of Mississippi, there are more NFL draftees per capita in the state of Mississippi. It's a very easy place to recruit. Very, very difficult to recruit out of state. I've been to Oxford. I've been to Starkville. I know what that state's about. I've spent a year there. I can tell you it's a tough place to try to convince guys to go. Just because you got a quarterback there, that's fine. They don't have Walter Nolan. They don't have Jackson Dart. They don't have Judkins. I think we're kind of doing what a lot of teams do, or a lot of journalists do, and we're thinking, well, heck, Ole Miss, man, they're number 4 team in the country. No, they're a team that has just continually won. They've had breaks go their way, so I'm going to put them right at 6.
Yeah, so Skylar is 6. This is where he's got Vanderbilt. And that's pretty close to where I have Vanderbilt as well. Number 6 for me, and this is going to kind of lean towards who I'm picking in the pick segment as well. I've got Alabama at 6. That might be a little bit low, especially considering that they just beat Georgia. But you also got to consider how they got absolutely embarrassed against Florida State. And has it looked like they figured some things out? Yeah, it has. Have they for sure? I don't know. They had a great game plan against Georgia, and they executed against it. Ty Simpson looked like I won't say a Heisman quarterback, but he looked like a guy that knew exactly what he was doing in that game for the first half.
Yeah.
The defense looked a lot better than it has overall this year. But can they do that game in and game out? I don't know if they can. I mean, you look, so Kalen DePore's record against, I think it was top 10 teams or top 15 teams, something like that, it now stands at 7-1. But you look at the unranked opponents that he has lost to since he's been in Alabama. He's lost, 5 games, 6 games, something like that against unranked opponents at Alabama. It's like he plays up to his opponents, or his teams play up to their opponents, but then they play down to their opponents as well. And I just think we're going to see that Alabama team show up again this year. That Georgia game to me is a one-off. I don't know if they have that success going forward throughout the rest of the season. Yeah. Number 5 for me. This is where I have Vanderbilt. I've got Vanderbilt at 5. They played great this year. They played a lot better than I thought they would. They dominated South Carolina. Granted, it's a worse South Carolina team than what we expected. They dominated Virginia Tech. I knew that they would win, but going on the road to Blacksburg, Virginia is not easy. And they went up there and just completely dominated, especially in that second half against Virginia Tech. All they have done this season is go out and they have completely beat down their opponents the way that they've needed to. Have they played an opponent with a pulse? No, they have not. But they went out and they scored 70 points against Georgia State. And that's something that they have not done since the early 1900s. Then they went out in the next game. I forget that. So they played New Mexico State last week. Put up 56, I believe it was. They have not scored 50-plus points in back-to-back games since I believe it was 1908. This is a Vanderbilt team that, granted, they might go 7-5 at the end of the season. But this isn't the same Vanderbilt of old. This is a Vanderbilt team they've got an identity. Clark Lee has got these guys at least believing in something. Are they going to finish in the top half of the conference? I don't know. I don't think so. But right now, the way Vanderbilt is played, I think they're very worthy of a top 5 ranking in my power rankings to start through the month of September. Number 5 for you.
I hate it. I'm going to put Texas there.
Texas at 5.
Yeah, I think, again, Texas is kind of in the same boat. They played nobody except for Ohio State. I think it's a big indicator. They limited Ohio State to 14. They have a heck of a run defense. I mean, they have a really good run defense, but to me, Texas, they've really underwhelmed. And there's a couple of teams that we didn't expect to be as good as they were, and they continue to perform. But yeah, I need to see more out of Texas. Texas could be as high as number 2. I mean, they could, but I'm going to keep them at 5 until proven otherwise.
Yeah, so number 5 for Skylar, he's got Oklahoma here, and I would say the way Oklahoma has played at the beginning of the season, I mean, it's not a bad spot for them.
They're undefeated, right?
They're undefeated right now. That's something that Tennessee can't say.
Nope.
But yeah, Oklahoma at 5 for him. Number 4 for Skylar. This is where he's got Ole Miss. Ole Miss is they're a good team. Now, have they gotten lucky? Probably. Have they had good game plans in those games? Yeah, probably. I mean, they're undefeated right now. And number 4 for me, this is where I've got Tennessee. I think that that's a good spot for Tennessee. I think that they are, without a doubt, a top 5 team in the conference. I mean, you took it down to the wire against Georgia. Arguably should have won the game. You had many opportunities to win the game. But you also played down to your opponent against Mississippi State as well. Showed that you can be vulnerable. But I think that Tennessee this season, they've got a favorable schedule as well. But Tennessee can absolutely run the table and make the SEC championship game, which then puts you in the college football playoffs. But you can also finish the season off at 9-3 if you don't play at your absolute best. But I think that Tennessee, the way they've played this year, they're very worthy of a top 5 spot in the power rankings.
Yeah, I have Tennessee at number 4. Yeah, I mean, not much to say there. They've had some adversity. They've played, kind of preluding. They played Georgia really hard. So I think that until they drop one more game, they're solidified as a top 5 team. So I'll have them at number 4.
So that's where Skylar has Tennessee is at number 3. He has them at number 3, which, you can make an argument for 3 as well, in my opinion, for Tennessee. Who do you have at number 3?
There's only 3 left, in my opinion. I mean, you got A&M, Alabama, and Georgia. I
was gonna say I've got my 3 if you want me to, because I've already picked one of those teams.
I might just unload it. I'm gonna give you 3, 2, and 1 all together.
Okay.
I hate to do it. I think it's gonna be Texas A&M. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I'm taking it back. I'm gonna take Georgia at 3. I think Georgia at 3 just because they've lost that head-to-head against Alabama at home. I think they're not one-dimensional, but they've
also beat you head-to-head for Tennessee, which is why you put them ahead of Tennessee.
Absolutely. I like A&M at 2, and I think I hate to say it, I think Alabama's number 1 right now. I mean, they've got 1 loss. They got thumped in the mouth. They missed Jam Miller a lot. They've got a really good wide receiver core, and I did not expect Ty Simpson to be the guy he is. So if I'm going in order, I mean, that's the way I'm going to take it.
So I'll finish off Skylar's as well. So I already said Tennessee at 3. He's got Alabama at 2, even though they did just lose the head-to-head to Georgia. And he's got Georgia at 1. Mine is slightly different. So I've already put Alabama down at 6. I still feel like that Alabama has got to prove something to me. That Florida State loss still looms big. So for me at number 3, that's where I have Ole Miss. Have they got lucky at times? Yes. They've had a good game plan? Yes. I think Lane Kiffin is a very good coach. He's definitely went above and beyond my expectations of him at Ole Miss. But I also think he's kind of hit his ceiling. We'll see how he finishes off this year, but I think Ole Miss is going to end up somewhere around 9-3 by the end of the season. I've kind of got a 1A, 1B right now at the 1 and 2 spots. I don't think there's much difference between the two teams, but I've got Texas A&M at number 2 and Georgia at number 1. Texas A&M, I was very high on him this year. I love Marcel Reed. and he's
Yeah,
really
he's a
shown out
beast.
this year. Texas A&M has got a fantastic defense as well, which you can come to expect from a Mike Elko coach team.
Yep.
And Georgia, I mean, to me, you've got the best coach in the country. Now, did he get? I won't say that he got out coached by Kalen DeBoer last Saturday, but Georgia got out game planned in that first half.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't, they couldn't come up with the big drive when they needed it. You couldn't come up with that stop on Alabama's final drive when you needed it to try to get the ball back. But to me, until somebody can prove that they can dethrone Georgia, I've got Georgia at the top of the conference.
Yeah.
So that is the SEC power rankings through the month of September. Obviously, these are going to change quite a bit at the end of October.
They're going to stay just where we need them to be. I'm batting 1,000 on this one. I can feel it.
All right, we'll see what it looks like. But we have gone a little bit long on the first part, but luckily there's not a lot of games this week to pick from. But before we get into our pick segment, I do want to give you our segment 3 sponsor, and that is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So let's start off picks this week. I do have Skylar's picks as well, so we'll be able to do those. First game of the weekend. It is Kentucky going up against Georgia. This game is in Athens at noon Eastern on ABC. Probably the only game that Kentucky will have on ABC all season long because they're just that bad. Georgia, a 20.5-point favorite in this game. Skylar's picks first. He's got Georgia. I've got Georgia as well.
I've got Georgia. I mean,
now, here's what I will say.
Here's
what I will say. I don't know if Georgia covers.
No,
they should. They should. They should. But how many times have we thought, oh, this is an easy cover for Georgia against Kentucky? And they played down to them. They struggled. Yeah. I don't think Georgia covers in this one. Next game on the slate this weekend, it is Texas going up against Florida. This game is in the Swamp at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Texas a 6.5-point favorite in this one. Skylar calling his shot, saying Florida over Texas in this game.
Look at the over-under. Gross.
Yeah, that's and you know what? I think I might take the under on that one.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. We'll talk more about that here soon. Just a little hint. Texas wins.
I've got Texas as well. I don't think Arch Manning is going to look good in this game, but I think that Texas does pull out a win by I'm going to go ahead and say it somewhere around 10 points. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think that Texas does win the game.
It's 2 possessions. Yeah, I agree.
Next game on the slate, it is Vanderbilt going down to Tuscaloosa to play against Alabama. This game is at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. Alabama an 11-point favorite. Skylar has got Alabama over Vandy. What say you, Jake Arnold?
What is this even? Like, why is this a discussion? You've got
the
Crimson Tide.
It's a discussion because I'm picking Vanderbilt, and I'm picking Vanderbilt outright to win this game. That's a teaser for my upset pick of the week as well. I'm taking Vanderbilt and the points this weekend. I'm taking Vanderbilt outright to win this game. Should they win this game? Absolutely not. Is Alabama going to be looking forward to this game? Absolutely. But once again, Vanderbilt's a different team. They've got an identity. They've got something to play for this year. And I think that Vanderbilt's on a mission. They're going to win this game. They're going to drop some games along the way, but they're going to win this one.
I see them playing for the Outback Bowl. Vanderbilt's a polished turd. On to the next game.
I mean, fair assessment because it is Vanderbilt, but you know, I just you'll only hear me say this once. I believe in Vanderbilt this weekend.
Hey, this is the only time that I can win either way.
Yeah.
There's no loss in that game.
Yeah. All right, so this one here, this is going to be easy. Kent State going up against Oklahoma. This is at 4 Eastern on the SEC Network. Oklahoma, even with Michael Hawkins, they're going to win this game. Skylar agrees with me. Jake, I'm assuming you agree with us as well.
Love Kent State. Think they no. Where is Kent State even at?
Is that? Oh, no, that's like Kansas or Nebraska, I think.
That's why I asked. They're in Ohio. I would say Kentucky.
Oh, they
State.
are. They are in Ohio.
That's all I need to know. Oklahoma by 1,000,000.
All right, so last game of the weekend. This is on SEC Network. Mississippi State going up against Texas A&M. This is a 16-point favorite for Texas A&M.
I mean, I love A&M, but we'll talk about this one again a little bit later. A&M's absolutely going to win. I think this will be closer than what people think.
I agree. I think Texas A&M wins as well. I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's close. But Skylar's got Mississippi State over Texas A&M, and since we've already gave both of our upset picks of the week, I will give the standings. But Skylar, his upset pick of the week is Mississippi State over Texas A&M. Mine, as I mentioned, was Vanderbilt over Alabama, and Skylar has taken a commanding lead on me. He once again got an upset pick game last week. So kind of leading into our next segment, we had a bad week last week. A bad week. 1-4 on Rakin with Jake. Yeah. I also make picks myself kind of off. I don't put my picks on the podcast here. I also went 1-4. Not to mention that TCU just completely screwed up our WTF from last week. They had the game won and threw an interception with under a minute left that led to them getting beaten that game. We had a bad week, but out of all of these games that we lost, Skylar gets the upset pick game of the week, right, by Virginia Tech beating NC State. So just a 14-point lead right now for Skylar, and that's going to lead us into the last segment. We got to have a winner this week, Jake. I know this is the same graphic that we use whenever it's three of us here, but I didn't feel like changing it. So we do have the overall record is at 11-14 now. And I do think the camera's kind of hiding it. So let me.
It's okay. It's okay.
Move these up a little bit.
Ooh, I didn't know you could do that.
There we go. Move it up a little bit to see it better. But yeah, 1-4 last week. It wasn't a good week for us.
Guys,
was not good.
Here's the good news. I want to be fact checked on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm alternating winning and losing weeks. I think I've gone 2-3, 3-2, 2-3, 3-2, vice versa about every single week.
So what you're saying is we're going 4-1 this week.
That's what it feels like if we're going off the trends, guys. Thank you to Ohio State for being my only pick. Truthfully, would have loved to have Indiana and Iowa at -6.5, and then be absolutely heartbroken after that forced safety. Really just infuriated with how Alabama and Georgia went. Alabama outplayed them. Just disgusting. All disgusting work last week, guys. So feeling 4-1. I'm feeling 4-1. It's what the trend is saying right now, guys. So if anything, you can bet this week and don't bet next week. You probably have a good shot based off of that.
There you go.
So, going into it, I'm going to keep this pretty swift, and I don't have a ton of statistics here. I just, we're midway through the season. I kind of know what I'm talking about here. Texas -6.5 versus Florida. Here's the deal. Texas, I know that they've got one loss, and everybody thinks that Arch Manning's ability to play in the next level is over. We think that Texas is not even in the playoff conversation. Guys, everything's in front of them that they want. Sadly, they still have what they need to do, and they should win this. Statistically, they have one of the top defenses in the country. They kind of highlight that being super stingy on the run game. Well, sadly, that's what Florida wants to do. Florida wants to run the ball. They cannot pass the ball effectively and consistently. That makes this a huge matchup disadvantage for Florida. And again, Florida will not be able to stop a team averaging about 450 yards a game. So I have
And-
Texas.
And let me just tell you guys, go hop on this number right now. It has dropped 2 full points. It is Texas minus 4.5 right now. That's
Yeah.
free. That's free money. There's no way it's
my
not.
gosh.
Go hop on it right now.
The only thing I was worried about was that half point, guys. Gator truth. Maybe Texas plays like Tennessee in the swamp. I can hope. There's an opportunity there for that to happen. In a weird world, I either see this game being won by like 14 or I see Florida just outright winning. I don't think there's any in between. I don't think this is going to be a 3-point game. I don't see that in any fashion. Kind of keep that in mind. I just
He also says State should have won the game. Honestly, if we're being completely honest here,
Yes.
Daniel, and I appreciate you tuning in tonight. Mississippi State should have won that game.
Yes,
They
they
absolutely
ran
should have.
all over us. They controlled the clock. They controlled almost every facet of the game. They beat us on special teams. In the first half, they were beating us on offense. Defensively is about the only spot that was iffy. That's a great segue because I want to go into my second pick. I have Mississippi State plus 16 at Texas A&M. What are they doing? Action. Thank you for sponsoring us, guys. Last year, the score of this game was 34-24. Okay. That's a 10-point spread. Can I ask y'all a question? Is Mississippi State better than last year?
Absolutely.
Everybody shake their head. Yes. Is Texas A&M about 6 points better now on this? Maybe. I don't see it. Texas A&M averages a ton of penalties. They're one of the most penalized teams in the country. Their best player came from Mississippi State. I think that's important to remember when you have Mario Craver. That it's one of those things where it's very easy to kind of get in the head of your past guy. And then again, Texas A&M, I didn't know this, but they're 124th in third down conversions. They're not able to kind of sustain drives. They're either hitting explosives or they're getting off the field. I think that if you look at what Mississippi State did, they relied on the run. They stretched the game out. I think this is the same game plan. I don't think there's much going to change for Mississippi State here, and so that's why I'm taking 16. Easily. I see this being a single-digit loss by Mississippi State. I don't see this as a double-digit loss. So that's where I'm at on this. Now, this one's crazy to me. The third one might be my most confident. Guys, has anybody watched Miami play football this year? Does anybody know that Miami could be your national champion? I mean, they are playing some.
All right,
really
national
good
champion
ball.
is a little bit of a stretch, but
You've
yes,
got
they're playing
Oregon.
good ball.
You've got Oregon. You've got Ohio State only because of the street cred they have, and then you have Miami. Who else you got winning it?
Tennessee. No, I'm just kidding. No, Oregon, Ohio State. I'm not going to say Miami, and I'll tell you why. Mario Cristobal is their head coach. I do not trust Mario Cristobal.
I get it.
At
I get it.
all. Listen, Miami's defense is a lot better.
So
year.
you trust Mike Norvell and Gus Malzahn?
Absolutely not. I don't trust either one of them. I think Miami wins this game, and I think they win it going away.
Oh, massive
But
stretch. You said Gator Truth's name's Daniel. Daniel, I'm calling you out here. Miami allowed 0 third downs against Florida. It sounds like Miami shot themselves in the foot enough to give you hope. I hate to tell you this. Florida State's one of the worst red zone teams in the country. There's no chance. I don't see this being even a close competition. Florida State is hurt right now. They just lost to a really bad team, in my opinion. Virginia, yeah, they can run the ball. Miami's going to be able to pass all over Florida State. I'm very confident in this one. I would say this is like 1 and 2 when it comes to Mississippi State and Miami. My last couple bets are not as confident. It's about the national champion, not this game. Now, what do you mean by that, Daniel? I need to get some clarification. I need to know, what do you mean about the national champion? That's something I need you to get back with me and some clarification on this. Who is the national champion? Are you talking about Miami being a stretch? Who else is going to win? You got Oregon and you got Ohio State.
I think it's Oregon and it's Ohio State, and I think that's the end of the list right now.
Buddy.
I don't have an SEC team that can win it right now, and
I don't either. I don't either.
And I don't. Here's the thing. I don't think that there is an ACC team that can win it. I would have said Clemson at the beginning of the season, but we see what kind of a dumpster fire that is right now. I don't think an ACC team can win it. I don't think an ACC team makes it into the Final Four. I don't see a Big 12 team.
There is
that
one
can
team
win
in
it
the
either.
ACC. One team. In the Big 12, you
All right,
have
listen.
Texas Tech.
If there is a team from the ACC that can win it, yes, that
Miami.
team is Miami. But I think there's two teams right now that can win the entire thing. And I think that's Oregon. I think that's Ohio State.
I hate it. I don't like giving this shame to the SEC. I'm tired of talking about this. This is awful. The thought of Miami being back's awful. Vanderbilt versus Alabama, -11. Hilarious. Did nobody watch what Alabama did against Georgia? Alabama put a masterclass type of game plan together. Vanderbilt's averaging 6.5 yards a carry against nobody. You already know I undervalue South Carolina, so I'm going to just kind of put that South Carolina game to the side. And you don't beat Alabama back-to-back. I think Alabama's going to come and win this game by like 17, definitely 3 possessions. That's just the way I feel. Hate me for it. I don't care.
You want to know one thing about this game? No, you're correct. Nobody beats Alabama back-to-back.
Except
but you want but you want to know one thing about this game that's different from the past games? Nick Saban's not there.
Yep, you're right. I can't disagree.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your last pick?
What are we doing? Iowa State's plus money against Cincinnati? Well, let's get out of the conference for a minute. Let's go over to this.
So what's this right here called, Jake?
It's a WTF. It's the wrong team favored. And I know you agree with me on this. Rocco Beck's a dog. Iowa State has more tools in every facet of the game going into this. And if you look at what Cincinnati struggles in, I know probably nobody, we've got maybe 20 viewers, 25 viewers right now. Maybe a half viewer knows that Cincinnati, like anything about Cincinnati, they can't stop the run, dude. I've seen teams run through their face. They've got bad linebacker play. They don't have really a defensive line. They've got a good quarterback. That's all they've got going on. Brendan Sorsby's good, but he's not all world. Iowa State's, one of the favorites to win the Big 12. I think that if you look at it, I don't see this being any way, shape, or form a result of Cincinnati winning. This is little brother versus big brother. You've got a lot more resources at Iowa State than you do at Cincinnati, and I believe in Luke Campbell. I think that he's a great coach. I think that he's going to be using Brahmer, their slot/tight end, as a mismatch against these pretty poor Cincinnati linebackers. Pretty easy one for me.
Yeah, I think that's I think this is a good list. I know that we were pretty confident last week, and obviously we fell on our face. But I think this is a perfect time for a bounce back week. And don't forget, everybody, if you do have a gambling problem, make sure that you do call that hotline number 1-800-889-9789. Don't bet money that you don't have, because you will lose it, and you can get into a lot of trouble for that. Not only physical trouble, but you can get into financial trouble as well. So just make sure that you do contact that number if you do need help. And also make sure you use Action 247 as your official sports book. They do sponsor the podcast here. Make sure you use promo code VolFanatics upon sign up if you have not already. So we very much appreciate Action 247 for being that sponsor. And Jake, I do have a WTF for this week. Is unfortunately we did lose last week, so it puts our overall record this year at 3-2 for WTF picks. But I do have one, and it's not the Iowa State one, although that's one that I very much would have picked. But I'm gonna go to a late night game. I'm gonna go to Duke against Cal. Cal is
a believer.
Cal is a 3-point underdog at home against Duke. This game is going to be at 8:30 Central Time, which means 9:30 Eastern Time on Saturday. Duke is going from the Eastern Time Zone over to Pacific Time Zone. That's a 3-hour difference, and playing it's going to be 6:30 Pacific Time over there. Cal is 4-1 on the season and has played pretty well this year. Now, granted, they don't put up a lot of points as they are actually 0-5 to the total this year. They are 3-2 against the spread this year, but as I said, 4-1 overall this year. Duke has been kind of up and down.
Yeah.
They have put up a lot of points in a lot of games, but they got manhandled by Illinois. And that game stands out to me. I think the California wins this game and wins it outright, especially being at home. Duke's having to travel across the country like that for a conference game, that's rough. I mean, you see it all the time in the Big Ten. I think that California wins this game, and I don't think that there's any questions in my mind about it. They might win it by 2 possessions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Daniel, I'm hoping I'm getting your name right. I think that you're right. Going across the country is hard, man. I mean, I remember when I don't know if you know this, I used to coach a little bit of ball, very, very low on the totem pole. But, when you have to make a long road trip, it's just that much harder to win. So I absolutely agree. I think that this one's a gimme. I'm excited to see that one hit. You're 3-2, man, and you're 3-2 against the odds. Don't let them forget that. I'm banging my table right now. I know you can't see it, but my gosh, 3-2 on wrong team favorites for plus money. Whew.
Yeah, gotta keep it up. There's always going to be a couple of them that the number is just on the wrong team, and I've been fortunate so far to be able to find those. A lot of people aren't able to, and I'm not saying that I'll be able to going forward either. We might go winless the rest of the year, but dang it, right now we have won money this year off of the wrong team favors, and I'm gonna continue to beat that drum as we go forward. So Jake, that's going to wrap up tonight's episode. It's fantastic episode tonight. I appreciate you being able to fill in for Skylar. You're basically an honorary member of the Vol Fanatics Show, being that you that you come on and do the picks with us during football season, but then you're also able to fill in whenever Skylar's not here. And I was joking at the beginning, but the numbers have been pretty steady over the show. So hey, might have to make this a permanent thing.
Talk to the higher ups. See what you can work out.
Now, Skylar, we do miss you tonight. Once again, if you did miss Skylar tonight, Skylar, his company does sponsor Anderson County, and they have Rivalry Thursday tonight going up against, I believe, is it Gibbs? Is that what he told us in the text message? So I was gonna say I have not seen how that game is going. You got a score update for
I
that
can
one?
get it really quick because I think people need to know that Skylar does a great job with his business as well.
Oh,
Big
absolutely.
Restoration company. It's I'm looking at it right now to see what I've got. I see nothing here. How is that possible? It's Gibbs and Anderson County. Ace, Gibbs might be winning. Mavs came back. So as of 9 minutes ago, the Mavericks are up 28-24 against Gibbs. I
just saw that on Skylar's story. So
fascinating stuff. Give Skylar a call if you ever have any issues with water in your house. I know, little tidbit. I'm a State Farm agent as myself. He does a great job. He's working around the clock to be able to take care of people. So I can speak firsthand on how good of a job he does with people, especially mutual clients. Stuff can be very costly, so definitely get with him.
Yeah, absolutely. So enjoy the off week this week, everybody. Is just watch some football. Watch some teams that you might not have ever watched before this week. You got Tennessee off this week before a big game against Arkansas next week. Enjoy the week off. This is obviously the time that this week you can have your weddings if you need to, because Tennessee's not playing. Honestly, there's not a lot of great games this weekend on the slate. So this is absolutely the time that if you want to have your wedding, do it this weekend. Definitely don't do it 2 weekends from now. That's third Saturday in October. That's a sin in the South. If you're from Tennessee or Alabama, especially if you have your wedding on the third Saturday in October, you've got a problem. So
yeah, if you're Catholic, have fun in purgatory. It's that easy.
Yeah, so now enjoy some football this weekend, not including Tennessee. Watch some teams that you haven't. And until next time, everybody, make sure you always root for that Big Orange. Go Big Orange, everybody.